couple weeks ago, I was like, I guess maybe 5 days out from flying to my son's basic training graduation and talking with some friends and about the excitement about what we were ready to do and on the countdown to going to the graduation with the family. And a good friend of mine, it's more like a brother, I told him I'd give him credit for this. So he said to me, you remember the phrase or what people tell you, like, sleep when your baby sleeps? And I was like, yeah, of course. And he's like, well, I mean, so is that something that you think is just like applicable to when you have a baby? Or is it something that is applicable to all phases of life when you're raising kids? And I was like, I don't know. I've never thought of it that way. Yeah. I never had. My youngest is 6, almost 7. And so like the idea of like sleeping when the baby sleeps is like not something that I think about on a regular basis. But of course, like when I have a baby and the baby takes a nap or the baby's napping, sometimes it was such a like comforting piece to take a nap with the baby, just fall asleep with them. Sometimes I feel like babies put me in a coma. And like when they give whatever they give off makes me sleepy when they're sleeping. Maybe that's a parental instinct, I don't know. And then also there was a part of me when my oldest were babies and I was still growing up myself that was like, oh, when they're sleeping, I need to clean the house or I need to do laundry, I need to do school or whatever. And so when he pitched this to me, I was like, I don't know. Is that a metaphor for like all types of phases that you go through as a parent where you should, consider resting when when your child is resting? So I've been thinking about that this past week. Went to my son's graduation, and it was such a beautiful experience. And after graduation, and after all the different things that happened that day, there was a brief maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45, where we could go back to the hotel and catch our breath before we went to the graduation party. And I remember going back to the hotel and I was like thinking, okay, should I organize all the pictures or start editing the pictures that I took from the graduation? And then I had this strong desire to lay on the bed and take a nap. And it was only 30 minutes, but that's exactly what I did. It's like, oh man, that was all the energy I had for that morning, all the excitement, all the buildup of seeing him and experiencing all of that made me tired. And not in a negative way. It was just like, oh wow, I'm tired. And you think about I get up in the morning, do a workout, whatever, get the kids ready for school, daycare. Everybody's school age now, but get them ready for school or daycare, whatever it is, and then get everybody to where they need to be, get on to work, take breaks throughout the day. I still work from home and, do whatever, household things, get off work, go get the kids, do all the nighttime activities, which the older they get, the later they go. I think we're usually all home by 9:30 these days. And then, do whatever chores I need to do to close up the house, close up the kitchen, and then go to bed, do it all over again. And I was thinking about this further after my friend pitched this an idea of sleeping when the baby sleeps. And it's I don't think that I have really considered resting a necessity for life, especially as a parent. I definitely had the mindset, when they are resting, what can we get done? How much can I get done in this nap time that I have available. Not like, how many naps can I take right now? That was never a thing. And I don't know if that's like a normal thing or if that's just a Chris thing, or maybe that's, maybe everybody else experiences that too, or maybe everybody else takes naps. I don't know. But then I started thinking about like beyond the whole idea of a nap, going back to the graduation day, I went into the graduation party and there were like things, right? There was like emotional, mental, physical things that happened throughout the evening. And I thought about it after and I was like, wow, if I would have just plowed through and kept doing things and then gone to this party, would I have had the same clarity to handle whatever came up if I hadn't allowed myself to rest? And by the way, I can be an analyzer sometimes. So I've been analyzing this whole concept idea ever since my friend pitched it to me. And it really speaks into like, sorry, y'all, I have super congested this morning, but speaks into like, okay, how important is rest? And am I making it a priority? Or am I just rushing through all the things to get them done? Am I ever pausing to sit and just let myself like literally turn off my brain, which is very hard, by the way. I always like love it when people say like, I'm like, what are you thinking about? Nothing. Really? What does that feel like to think about nothing? Like my brain is always on. There's certain things I have to do to turn it off, but like it is always going. So I kind of envy those people that can just be like, oh, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just staring in space. Wow, that's amazing. I would love that. But anyways, back to the idea. And then I thought about like, okay, sleeping when the baby sleeps probably doesn't always just apply to taking a nap. Like how else can I apply this concept to when it comes to raising kids? And so we just went into full school schedule. My oldest is back. It's his senior year. He's doing all these different activities. My second oldest got onto the football team. That's a new thing for us, a new type of commitment. And, the younger two are doing school and all their things. I work, obviously. And it's like, okay, how do I use the concept of resting when I'm in this very, very busy stage? And I joke and I like tell people like, hey, all the calendars and schedules just got released for the school year for all these activities. I will see you all next year when this is over. Don't expect me to answer phone calls or respond to anything because of how busy we're about to be, or that we are right now. And then I thought about it, and that's been my thing, my MO, I guess. But like beyond that, it's like, well, I'm only as busy as I allow myself to be. And I had this idea, which I think maybe other parents go through, where like, okay, if this kid is in this activity or whatever, like this other kid should be in as many activities as they are, so it's fair and consistent. And we should be getting as much exposure as possible and experiencing as much as we can. And this year, I just have a different idea. I have like this very short time of senior year with my oldest. And then the second oldest, being that he is a freshman and on the football team for the first time, whatever that's going to come with, like, I just want to like sit in it. I just want to enjoy all of it. And I want to show my younger two, who are both girls, that that's okay. Like, we don't have to be as busy as possible. I don't have to fit in a dance class for them in between football and theater practice, like I've done in the past. And I'm super good at managing the calendar, but like at what expense? At what cost? And so it's okay to have like a 30-minute, 45-minute break in between theater and football pickup and just sit in the high school parking lot, open up the trunk of the car and just be like, okay, I have snacks. Y'all want to just run around the parking lot and safely have some snacks, and I read my book, I just chill. And so that could be like what resting can look like at this stage. And totally, like, I'm not gonna lie, I've totally taken a nap when I've gotten to the high school and theater practice has ran late in the past. And I'm like, all right, they're gonna scare me when they knock on the car door, and that's okay, but I'm gonna close my eyes and sleep really fast. But so just like putting it all into perspective. And I love that he shared this with me because I was like, when he said it, I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know. Is that something we're supposed to be doing? Have I been doing it wrong? But I love the idea. I love the concept of being able to be okay with doing less. And even more importantly for me, showing the kids that it is okay to do a little bit less. It is okay not to have a super full calendar all the time. We're typically really protective of our Sundays. That was something that my oldest and I think we set that up in like his sophomore year. We were like, okay, Sundays are the day we don't plan anything. And if there's going to be an exception to that rule, we have to get it approved by the whole family. We're pretty good with that. Sometimes we probably make too many exceptions, but it's just like being able to be flexible and be adaptable to the schedule and the stage of life. And it can be super freeing. And I think that what I'm learning is that the kids appreciate it. They appreciate it when they see me able to just slow down. And it's kind of funny. I'm literally out walking right now because it is super hot in California these days, this week. And I wanted to squeeze in a walk before it gets too hot. And I made the comment a couple days ago. I was like, gosh, I haven't like mopped the floor in like 2 weeks. Like, it's just awful. And I usually mop it like twice a week. And my oldest was like, I don't think any of us care that the floor is dirty, Mom. I think you care that the floor is dirty. I was like, yeah, probably. Let me just let that go. Like, it's going to get done, of course, because, we have to be clean. But like, if it goes 2 weeks, or if the truck doesn't get washed for, it went 4 weeks, which was crazy. I've never let it go that long, but it's okay. Like, we can be flexible, and I can let it go if it's not like nobody's going to be harmed if I do just let it go. So I love the concept. I love the concept of sleeping when the baby sleeps, sleeping during a practice, reading a book when I could have fit in another class. I remember, I think it was my son's freshman and sophomore year, my oldest son. He was doing track. Maybe, was he doing cross country too? He was doing track, I think, not cross country. And he wasn't doing theater yet. But then my second youngest daughter was doing competitive dance, which was insane. We were at the theater, we were at the studio like 30 hours a week. And then my second oldest son was doing volleyball and basketball. And then the baby was in daycare. So it was always like a tight schedule on like picking her up before the daycare closed in between all the different practices. And I remember like it was down to like the minutes of how I could zigzag across town to all the different places. And I one time I looked at the map and I was like, wow, I'm literally doing a Z back and forth across town every single evening after work and school. And it was like, I guess it's just the stage of life. Like, I just kept telling myself, like, this is just a stage. And we did that for 2 years. And then last year, my daughter who did competitive dance, she was like, I think I need to take a self-care year. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I think I need to pause dance. Like, it's really taxing, Mom. Like, it's so much. And I'm like, she's finishing up 4th grade and telling me she needs a self-care year. I was like, okay, I can get down with that. And we did. And then this next year came and she was like, I think I'm okay. Like, I love dance and I loved competing, but like, it's a lot. And I don't feel like it's what I want to give my energy right now. And I hope that, that's, what has been shown to her as being okay. Because when she shared this with me, I was like, of course, like, yeah, like whatever you want to focus on, whatever you want to give your energy to. And after further conversation, I learned that she was very nervous about 5th and 6th grade. And she had heard from her brothers that those were the hardest grades for them. And So she got very, very nervous as they got closer. And I was like, oh, okay. So then, I was like, is it still because you want to take a break from dance? Or is it more because of a fear of the grade that you're going into? And she wrestled with it for a while. A couple weeks went by. And she was like, yeah, nope, I'm good without dance right now. I'll do little dance clinics. I'll do little dance routines, but, little 6-day clinics and dance routines here and there at the community, but not something that is taking such a toll because I have to compete and I have to do all these things in order to compete. She's like, I'm just not there right now anymore. I was like, all right. And basically what she was doing is she was creating self-care for herself. She was taking a rest year, rest 2 years. She might go back, she might not go back. But then she was also setting up a boundary. And I know that I've been one of those parents that's like, oh, just keep doing more. Let's do it. Let's get it all. Like, you want to do a sport? You want to do an art class? Like, what do you want to do? Like, let's do it all. Definitely been that parent because that's how I've been with myself. And so hearing her set her own boundary and listening to it was so like inspirational to me of like, oh yeah, you're totally right. Like, we can take a break. We can take a pause on things and come back to it. And it's going to be okay. We can rest and we can try new things and channel our energy differently. So I hope that sharing this concept that it seems so simple, sleep when the baby sleeps, create self-care years, set your own boundaries to have your own space to do what's important to you, and giving myself permission to do what's important to me alongside everything else is actually like super freeing. Super freeing.